Hey y'all, and welcome to the Currency of Visibility podcast. This is the show that teaches you how to turn your credibility into cash. I'm your host, Carrolee Moore, founder of the Podcast Pitching Society, where we help experts who feel hidden get found, chosen, and paid using strategic storytelling on other people's podcasts. Each week, me and a few of my expert guests will give you proven strategies, tools, and the straight talk you need to grow visibility that actually pays you back. Let's get into it. All right. Let's talk about the real reason you're struggling with visibility. And no, it's not because you don't know how to use TikTok. It's not because you haven't cracked the algorithm. It's not even because you're too busy or don't have time. The real reason most experts struggle with visibility, they don't trust themselves. Ouch. And I'm not talking about trusting your expertise here. You know you're good at what you do. You have the results, you have the client transformations, you have the receipts, you have all the degrees, right? You have all the things. I'm talking about trusting yourself to show up, to get on camera, to sound like you, to be engaging without being over the top, to be visible without needing to perform with your public mask. And today I'm breaking down exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how to fix it. Here's what I see all the time. Smart, seasoned experts who can command a boardroom, close six-figure deals, and even solve super complex problems, but freeze up the second someone says, let's record a video or let's hop on a podcast. Why is that? Because deep down, they don't trust that they can show up and be personable. They don't like the way that they look on camera. They don't like the way that they sound. They worry they won't be engaging enough, interesting enough, entertaining enough. That last one, okay? That's where things can get a little messy. I remember being so self-conscious because I have a slight lisp. And now that I said it, you're not going to be able to unhear it. You're welcome. I was super self-conscious about that lisp. I mean, I hated hearing my recorded voice. Still kind of do. I also was the kid who hid in the family photos growing up. I mean, all of them. So having to speak and be on camera was like a special kind of torture for me a few years ago. But then something clicked for me, right? I recognized that I was comparing myself to the wrong people. Like most experts, I was comparing myself to full-time content creators, really, and influencers whose entire job it is to be an entertainer. It's essentially entertainment. People who are known for over-the-top personalities, people who are literally performing for the camera. That's who I was comparing myself to. And because you don't see yourself as one of those people, right? You've convinced yourself that you don't have what it takes to grow a following, an audience. But something is going to shift for you because let me be crystal clear. You don't have a desire to be an influencer. Neither do I. You're not trying to be popular. You're trying to be trusted. There is a massive difference. Influencers build audiences. Experts build authority. Influencers chase views. You're chasing contracts. The problem is, you've been measuring yourself against the wrong metrics, and it's costing you something. It's costing you visibility, traction, and money. Now, here's where it gets deeper, because a lot of this lack of trust, it didn't actually start with you. It started in corporate. Think about it now. Think about it. How many times have you been overlooked for a promotion that you know you deserved? Okay, how many times were you told you didn't have enough confidence and you weren't leadership material? In different ways? How many times were you passed over, not because of your performance, because let's be honest, we perform better than most, but because of who you were? And here's what happens though. We internalize that. We become our own negative self-talker. For years, I walked around blaming others, when in fact, I was ceding my power. I was giving my power away to people who never had that power to begin with, to silence me in the first place. The crazy part is, you don't need a boss telling you you're not enough anymore, because now you're doing it for them. You're so used to code switching, you learned how to speak to be accepted in a particular environment. Whether you're a woman or a person of color or both, you learned how to sound professional, even if it meant watering yourself down. And now you don't even know what you sound like. I remember this was a huge problem for me when I left corporate. I mean, huge. When I started my business, I got paid professionally to write in other people's voices. So it was especially difficult for me. I was really great at what I did for my job, but what did my voice sound like? Coming from someone who always struggled with identity as a Jamaican immigrant who grew up in two completely different cultures, I never felt like I fit in anywhere. I wasn't Jamaican enough for the Jamaicans. Definitely wasn't American enough for the Americans. I had to blend myself, and bend it into a pretzel to make myself seem alike enough for everybody. So imagine that overwhelm when I realized as a new entrepreneur that my superpower, that pretzel-like, right, that I developed for corporate as a survival mechanism would no longer serve me. I had to find the real me. Before I could become visible to others, I literally had to become visible to myself. Look, you've been performing corporate you for so long that the idea of showing up as your actual self feels wrong. But the real issue is you're not struggling with visibility because you don't know what to say. You're struggling because you don't really trust yourself to say it in your own voice. So how do you fix that? How do you undo years of conditioning, comparison, and corporate BS so you can finally show up as yourself on camera, on podcasts, in any room you walk into? I'm going to give you 3 moves. The first thing is to map your wins. I want you to start a running list of every single thing you've done that felt impossible, but you did it anyway. Competitions you won, projects you pulled off when everyone doubted you, moments when you thought it wouldn't work out, but it did. Every difficult thing you survived, every hard conversation you had, every time you bet on yourself and it paid off. Keep adding to this list. Make it long, make it detailed, because here's what this list does. It reminds you of your character. Think about it like this, because I'm a believer, and Christians go back to the Bible to read about all the times that God showed up, all the miracles, all the impossible things that happened for others. These are indicators of past victories. They do this to remind themselves of God's character, how he consistently shows up and provides blessings. Your list of wins, that's your version of the same thing. It's proof that you've done hard things before and you'll do them again. When you don't trust yourself to show up on camera, go to this list. When you start doubting whether you can be engaging, go to this list. It's a receipt catalog of who you actually are, not who corporate has told you you weren't. Bars. Okay, so the second one is reframe your approach. Because right now, your internal narrative is all about you. I don't feel comfortable. I am going to fail. I don't want to look stupid. I am not ready. All of that is a little bit selfish. I don't mean to be harsh. I mean to snap you out of it. Because the truth is, there's someone on the other side of that camera who needs what you offer. Someone who is struggling with the exact problem that you solve. Someone who's about to buy a service from someone who is not as qualified as you. Okay. Your job isn't to be perfect. Your job is to be accessible. And every time you let fear, insecurity, or comparison stop you from showing up, you're keeping the solution away from the people who need it. That's not humility. I'm sorry to tell you. That's selfishness. So shift your focus. Stop making it about whether you're comfortable. Start making it about whether you're available, because visibility is about the person that you're serving, not you. Okay. And the third one, I'm just going to be honest, you're going to have to do the hard thing anyways. Here's what I need you to understand though. It's supposed to be hard. Showing up on camera when you don't like the way that you look, hard. Pitching yourself when you've been conditioned to stay small, hard. Speaking in your real voice when you've spent years code switching, hard. Y'all might hear some Jamaican patois pop out because this is what it is right now. But you know what else is hard? Staying invisible, watching less qualified people get the opportunities you deserve, leaving money on the table because no one knows you exist. So pick your hard. And when you do the hard thing, when you record the video, send the pitch, get on the podcast, you're going to notice something. And this is big. You didn't die. No one died. Nothing catastrophic happened. Matter of fact, you learned and you kept going. And now you get to add that to your book of wins. Because here's the truth. The version of you that builds the business you want, that gets the visibility you deserve, that turns credibility into cash, that version of you is on the other side of doing the hard thing. So do it anyways. Look, I get it. Visibility feels vulnerable. I'm going to be honest right now. This feels really vulnerable to me right now. But it feels like you're putting yourself out there to be judged, because you are. But here's what I know. Invisibility, the opposite, is expensive. Every day that you decide to not do what you're supposed to be doing, opportunities are going out the window, out the door, out the floorboards, everywhere. Opportunities are leaking. And the only way to stop it is to be visible. Because if your visibility doesn't actually make dollars, it doesn't make sense. All right, guys, thanks for spending this time with me. Now it's your turn to put today's strategies to work. Join us inside the Currency of Visibility Collective on School. It's a free community that we've created just for you. Visibility tips, connect with other people, do your homework from the episode. And if anything that we discussed today, something really hit home for you, let us know by engaging. Whether you're on YouTube, listening on Apple or Spotify, or on our website, drop a comment, rate, subscribe, all of the things. The biggest one is share. Share if you care, share with other people. My name is Carrolee Moore. This has been the Currency of Visibility podcast, and I will see you next time.